I managed to get a really cool Signal username, but the app tells me to be restricted with sharing it. What are the actual concerns about sharing my username willy nilly, spam? Yeah, on my end, that's my concern, and I think that's where people really got the whole Signal thing mixed up, including myself. For the record, in my head, for some reason, when I heard about Signal releasing usernames someday, I'm going, "Wow, that's cool! I can finally put my Signal username on my website." Because in my head, the reason why it's not on my website is because I'd have to share a phone number. But that's actually not at
Hmm.
all the issue because then I'm back. Like people can just spam me anyway, and I don't want to deal with spam, and I kind of want to hide like other services that I use anyway from my website. But it's hard to be able to verify who I am and publicize what my accounts are, and also not deal with spam issues. And so Signal's never going to deal with that. So yeah, if you publish your username all over the place, you're still going to deal with the issues of spam. Not publicizing your phone number has nothing to do with that. And I'm guessing that's why they suggest that. Um, can you think of another reason why they wouldn't suggest just willy nilly sharing your username?
Spam is definitely the main reason. I will say there's another theoretical privacy problem where if you have the who can see my number set to nobody, but you have who can find me by number set to everybody, there is still a way to maybe figure out what your phone number is, even if like it being on your profile is disabled, because the public key for the account with your phone number and the public key for the account with your username is going to be exactly the same. So if everybody went and like scraped the public key of every single phone number on Signal, which is possible because there aren't that many phone numbers in the world, they could potentially correlate that. So unless you have both phone number settings set to nobody, sharing your Signal username could actually expose your phone number technically. And Signal might have like server side rate limiting to prevent that kind of thing, but it's just something to possibly be concerned about if that's really concerning for you. That's the only other reason why sharing your username might not be a good idea, but I think it's mainly the spam thing. And really, it just works very differently from all other messaging platforms that have usernames because with Signal, you are pretty much supposed to just use them like one time. You can quick share a username with someone and then you can disable that username after you've made whatever connection you want. And when you change your username or you delete your username, people can still contact you if they've already contacted you once. So they're really meant to be disposable and not really things that are shared publicly. And I don't think many people will share them publicly, except for the people who are already sharing their Signal phone number publicly, like journalists, for example. I see a
Journalists.
lot of Signal tip lines, and that's going to be replaced with usernames. But other than that, I think for most people, it makes sense to just have like single use usernames and not bother with having a single username to keep track of.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about it being more disposable like that, but that's a really good use case. Because then,
Hmm.
like, you could, like, in theory, if we went to a conference and I had a talk or something, I could just be like, hey, message me on Signal at this username. And then everyone at the conference could, like, add me if they wanted to. And then,
Yep.
like, an hour later, I just delete the username and then generate a new one. And now you can't add me anymore. Tough luck,
Yeah.
you know? So that's really cool. That's a really good use case, actually. But then you lose, like, a cool username. But then what's the point of having, like, a username that's unique to you, I guess? Because it's not, I
Well,
think,
yeah. Well, that's
yeah,
the reason that usernames aren't like in your profile, or you'll never see your username again once you add that connection. Like if I
right,
add you on Signal, I'll never see your at whatever username again. It's just for the initial connection and nothing else.
right. I think where people get mixed up, because Nate and I talked about this in the Q&A, and Nate was like, well, now people can impersonate me. Um, but Signal just doesn't have that use case in the first place of it being like a public facing account. I feel like Signal's
Yeah.
designed to be like more one on one. It's not designed to be this is a Twitter account and we need to verify this is actually the actual Twitter user. Um, so it's designed more to be just a messenger for individuals and people you know.